Welcome to the second topic about taking notes, which will help you to understand and remember more of what you read. In this topic, you will learn how to prepare your paper as well as some strategies for taking notes from a textbook. In the previous topic, you learned about how to find the most important 20% information from your text. The next step is to get ready to write it down. This brings us to step 2. Prepare your paper. This is a quick step, but an important one. It is best to take notes on loose sheets of reinforced lined filler paper because you can rearrange them, move them, and file them easier than bound paper. Keeping them in your 3-ring binder will prevent them from getting lost. You may also use the printable note-taking paper in your personal study plan. Just print the paper out, hole punch it, and add it to your binder. If you use regular lined paper, the reinforced pages are best because they're much sturdier and they last longer. If you're using regular lined filler paper, fold over the left 1/3 section of the notebook paper on each page before you write. You'll write your notes on the right-hand side of the paper and jot quick summary questions on the left third of the paper. This will be discussed further in step 4. If you're using the printable note-taking paper from your personal study plan, it already has been divided into 2 sections for you. You should include the date and number all pages if possible. This will keep you organized and save time when you need to look back at your notes later. Also, if possible, always include the topic and/or chapter. This will keep you organized and it helps to give your notes structure. Often you can take the topic directly from the textbook chapter's title. Don't forget to write down which class the notes are for, in case you need to move them around or file them later. Finally, don't write on the back of the paper. Only take notes on one side. You may want to use the back of the pages later to add information, drawings, or ideas. To be environmentally friendly, you can always recycle the paper when the year is over. For the activity in this topic, prepare a paper to take notes in your class. This shouldn't take more than a minute or 2. We'll use this paper for the next activity, so go ahead and pause here to complete it. Then resume the video when you're finished. If you're done preparing your paper for note-taking, let's take a quick look back at our map of the 6 steps of note-taking. So far, we've learned how to locate the most important 20% information, how to prepare our papers, and then next is the 3rd step, how to write down the information we want to remember in short summary phrases. Note-taking involves actively thinking about the material as you write. One of the major benefits of note-taking is engaging your brain. There are a few basic techniques that are essential for creating high-quality notes. To begin with, write your notes by hand. Do not type them. The act of manually writing the information engages your brain further. This is particularly true for kinesthetic learners. It also allows you to better organize the layout of your notes. Also, write your notes in print, not script. Taking legible notes is quicker when printing than writing in script. It also is easier for the brain to visualize and recall printed words. Next, read the whole paragraph or section before taking notes. You don't have to write something for every sentence. It's a good strategy to read at least a couple of paragraphs before going back to write. After reading each section, decide which information was the most important. This will keep your notes brief and focused. It also helps you to keep the big picture in mind while you're reading the text. Write information in your own words. Try to summarize the main idea in a way that makes sense to you. This technique will keep you thinking about the material and make it easier to remember. Keep it short. Do not write incomplete sentences. It is a huge waste of time and space. Try to keep your notes to short phrases with no more than 4 or 5 words. Using as few words as possible forces you to think about the text, which helps you to better understand and remember the information as well. However, be careful not to make them so short that you can't understand what you wrote later on. Double check for accuracy. Research shows that students frequently make mistakes when copying diagrams, equations, and numerical figures. Always check to make sure you copy information down correctly. The last tip for step 3, writing short summary phrases, is to use symbols and abbreviations. This is an easy way to take notes faster and keep them shorter. You should be familiar with common note-taking symbols and abbreviations, but you can develop your own as well, as long as you stay consistent. Here is an example of how an efficient student's notes might look. These notes were written after reading a lesson in this student's science textbook. As you can see, the student labeled the notes with the class, topic, and date. They also used subheadings to organize their notes. For this page, the headings are each of the inner planets. You can see that the notes are written in short phrases, and the student uses abbreviations. Finally, this student made sure to include extra space between sections so that they can write additional notes from class lectures the following day. In this topic, you learned how to prepare your paper for note-taking using loose sheets of reinforced lined filler paper or our printable note-taking pages. You know to reserve the left 1/3 of the notebook paper on each page before you write and add the topic and date to each page. You also learned why it's important to write your notes by hand, to read the whole paragraph or section before taking notes, and to write information in your own words in short and accurate phrases. Finally, you learned some abbreviations and symbols to use when note-taking to help your notes stay short and simple. In the next activity, you're going to practice step 3. You already selected the 20% information in your last activity. Using the same textbook selection, try writing notes using the strategies that you just learned. I'm also going to provide you with a reference sheet for note-taking. You can use it to remind yourself of any of the information that we've gone over so far. Try it out this week.